Right. Oh, good evening, everybody. I'm going to call this meeting of the Historic Preservation Commission to order. Today is Tuesday, January 11th, 2022. The time is now 7:06. Due to the coronavirus pandemic, this meeting is being held via the Zoom platform. Just as a note, this is being recorded, so got to be on our best behaviors. If you are having any technical or connection difficulties, please contact Jamie Lawson at 336-380-7064 for support. And for public comments, if there's anyone from the public that wish to speak, please use the raise hand feature in Zoom, or if you're listening by phone, push *9 and Jamie will notify me that you wish to speak. And anyone who wishes to speak must give their name and address for the record. I would like to confirm that all commission members and staff members are present and can hear me.
Yes, I can.
I can hear you.
Okay. So I guess, Jamie, you want to do a roll call?
I can. Chair Ulis,
Here.
Vice Chair Pennington,
Here.
Russ Vandermast Peeler,
Here.
Christina Meinking,
Here.
Lori Bryan,
Here.
Josh Adkins,
Here.
and Wendy Geist.
Here.
Okay. I didn't get any, well, we're all here, so nobody mentioned to me they wouldn't be here, so we don't do any excused absences. All right, so I guess the first thing is the approval of the minutes from December. Now, since I wasn't there, do I abstain? Because technically I wasn't really, right? Okay. So, and I guess, so did everybody, I guess, look over the minutes? And nobody wanted to change anything? All right, so then, all right, then I guess I need a motion to approve the minutes from December 14th.
So moved, Wendy Geist.
A second.
Second, Brian Pennington.
Okay. You want to do a roll vote? I mean,
Sure, I can. James, I believe you said you're going to abstain.
abstain. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Brian Pennington.
Aye.
Let's see. Christina Meinking. Christina, you're on mute.
Aye.
Okay. Russ Vandermast Peeler,
Aye.
Lori Bryan,
Aye.
Josh Adkins,
Aye.
and Wendy Geist.
Aye.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So tonight we've got no applications. So with that, I'm going to skip on to new business. All right. So the first item is the Aurora Cotton Mills plant and the Baker Kamek Hosiery Mills plant National Register nomination. So I do know that you all got my email. So the feedback I got is a tie between one person doing.
Oh, we're on the Aurora Cotton Mills.
Cotton Mills.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay. Oops, wrong one. Never mind. I'm ready.
So if you'd like, I can just briefly describe this item for you.
Yes, please. Sorry.
Sure. So included in your packet is just a memo that I sent to the commission describing the fact that we received a report, a recommendation for the Aurora Cotton Mills that was listed and nominated and appointed as a landmark designation last year. They're seeking National Historic District Registry status. And in accordance with the process, The state sends notification to the local historic commission as well as governing body for your recommendation or not in favor of the National Registry status. So on your agenda tonight is this item, and staff is hopefully you've had a chance to take a look at the packet. Staff is recommending that the HBC approve a motion to recommend the Aurora Cotton Mills finishing plant to be listed to the National Register of Historic Places. Should you vote in favor of that, staff would then forward any comments that you have. You're welcome to provide additional comments, but staff would forward any comments, as well as there's a form on page 12 of your packet that the chair would need to sign, and we would forward that as well to the state for the recommendation. Is there any questions on this item? This is similar to what you guys did regarding the carousel site. I believe it was in September of 2020. It's just a procedural item. There's no formal comments or testimony on this. The state's just looking for your recommendation or not in favor of the nomination. I would say before you make a motion, I would just open it up to, just procedurally, I would open it up to the public to see if there's any public comment, because we did do a press release on this item to make the public aware that we were going to be discussing this tonight, and they had the opportunity to speak.
And do we have any, is there anybody on here, or has anybody said anything directly to you, Jamie? In support
I
or-
see one person in the attendees list. It's Conrad, and he's just listening in. We have not received any separate comments or feedback from members of the public.
Okay. Do any commission members wish to give some additional comments or?
I don't have any.
I would only say this is a great thing for the city, and I commend the managers of the project for moving this along.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree. I think it can only be wonderful, positive things coming from this.
Yeah, I agree.
Absolutely. I think this is really exciting to see.
Great.
Okay. Well, I can see that we're all pretty good, so I guess, so Jamie, I make a motion to approve, right? To say we want to say, yes, we're gonna, hold on.
I'm going to pull up the language that's on page 12
Okay, yeah, that one.
of your binder, and James, you can kind of paraphrase if you'd like, and read that into the record if you want.
Okay, well, I can. So I'm gonna go ahead and let's paraphrase it. So basically we're all going with option A, which is we've had our discussion and nominate, and we meets the criteria. And so we're all in recommendation for this. Is that am I agreeing to? So, we as the Burlington Historic Commission, we've reviewed, discussed for the Aurora Cotton Mills finishing plant and the Baker Kamek Hosiery Mills plant, sorry, can't see tonight, and that this property does meet the criteria for listing in the National Register of Historic Places as stated in Section 8 of the report. So we are going to recommend that it be submitted for listing. Okay.
And
So
I will just do a roll.
Okay.
My assumption is you're recommending in favor.
Mm.
Okay,
That's what I'm.
all right. And so I'm just going to do a roll call then. Chair Ulyss,
Yes.
Vice Chair Pennington.
Aye.
Okay, Christina Meinking.
Aye.
I believe Russ had to drop off the call, so he did say since there's a quorum, he was in a bad spot. He may try to, so he's has left the meeting at this point. Lori, I got you, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Wendy Geis
Yes, aye.
and Josh Adkins.
Yes.
Okay,
Okay.
great. So, James, if you could, I'll send this form to you separately. If you could just sign that and then send it back to me. And once we get the minutes, I'll add just your comments because I think that those would be helpful and nice to add. And then we'll send that off to the state.
Okay. And those are the comments I just said, right?
Your comments, and then I'll just paraphrase the
Oh, okay.
commission's comments as you guys were doing your discussion.
Okay. Yep. I will get it signed.
Great.
All right. So let me look at the agenda here. 'Cause I'm not. All right. So I guess next we're going to do the update for the district design standards, and those were the two consultants that the city was interviewing. I had a chance to listen to them. Did everybody else find the link okay?
Yes, so I emailed comments directly to Jamie, and I thought that that's what the procedure was. I wasn't
I'm sorry.
sure if this was something up for discussion, but Jamie, I'll defer to you. I don't know.
We're not going to be discussing the proposals at the, at the commission level. But I would say if you do have, we would like to hear your feedback. So if you do have comments or questions, I'm going to extend the time period to tomorrow at 10. So hopefully you guys have had the opportunity to at least take a look at them. And we're not going to discuss it much further, except we're hoping to make a decision either later this week or early next week. So to get the exciting project started.
Then I guess we can move on to other business. So the first other business is the local historic district amendment. That is the email that I sent out. Okay, so the responses I got, it's tied between forming a subcommittee and one person doing the whole list. So I know Brian and Christina are in favor of the subcommittee, and I know Lori and Wendy, y'all are in favor of individual. So I think Josh and Russ, I haven't heard from. I'm gonna step back because I don't think it's appropriate for me to. So it's kind of tied right now with which one we are wanting to do for the recommendation.
So basically, we have to identify a process by which the commission would produce a report that would include the consultant's report that we reviewed at the last meeting and any other materials that might be included that could include comment from the public, et cetera, right?
Mm-hmm. So like I said, I got the responses and it's a tie. So I know I just have people. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, this is Josh. I was just gonna say, so my question is, and I'm trying to recount the last meeting. I felt like Conrad might have been suggesting that we didn't need a committee. So I don't know if that was what was said or I was misunderstanding what was being said.
So staff spoke to city attorney and prepared a memo and distributed to you guys for some guidance. It's really up to the commission in terms of how you guys want to skin the cat, whether or not you want to have somebody draft something and send that to the full HPC for comment and review, or whether or not you want to create a subcommittee, a working group that would, meet independently. The only thing that, our concern is if it's a subcommittee, it's got to follow the Open Public Meetings Act, and we're happy to facilitate that. So that's not an issue at all. The meetings would just have to be noticed ahead of time. You'd need to keep minutes of the meeting, and then, present whatever your report is to, to the full group. That would be the process for that option. And then in terms of whether or not the subcommittee wants to meet, or if the HPC wants to meet, have a special meeting, we could facilitate that as well. So we're just, we're kind of taking we'll be in the back just supporting you in terms of whichever process you want to follow.
Now, does the subcommittee, does it have to have a minimum number of members in the subcommittee, or?
So we were 3 is what we don't want to do too much. So 3 is our recommendation, I believe, right, Brian? Jamie, we discussed, 3, no more. Because we want to have so it was just 3.
So I think a subcommittee, so in my opinion, we would want to move this along quickly, and we would hope by whatever process we choose to have a draft of a report for the whole commission to review at the next meeting in February. And so if a subcommittee were to be formed, that would have to meet soon. It would have to draft its report soon. That, of course, would also be the case if an individual were to do this. I voted in favor of forming a subcommittee because I thought it would be a more efficient process. It would involve more commission members. And when we got to the point where the whole commission had to review and potentially revise a draft report in a commission meeting, we would have already had several commission members input into what was being drafted as the report at that point. So I just thought I, for myself, don't want to delay this process much further. I would like, for the applicant's sake, to be able to move this on to the Zoning and Planning Commission. For the commission's sake, I'd like it to be off our agenda and us to be back to regular business as soon as possible. So if somebody has an argument for why an individual drafting a letter would help us move more quickly, I'd be very open to hearing it. But that was why I thought a subcommittee was the better process right now.
I would second everything that Brian has already articulated so well, and add that I think for me, part of it also was a group of 3 is hypothetically more likely to capture more of the perspective and reading through, right, of that report and the state's comments on it than one person. But just throwing all of that on one person, while on the one hand might seem more efficient, perhaps actually seems a little bit unfair and almost cruel. I'm thinking about like, who is the one person having to do all this work and then incorporate everyone's feedback. So I think for me, it was also motivated by what means that we capture the most ideas and opinions and thoughts and perspectives from the commission, parcel out the work in ways that are equitable, right, and meaningful, and still have sufficient time to gather more information and perspective from non-subcommittee HPC members.
Anybody else wish to give some feedback on because the way it stands now, it's a tie. So I don't know. You know, that's where it stands right now. And I don't, you know,
I can change my vote to subcommittee. That makes sense. I like hearing what Christina and Brian had to say.
So we might be able to dispense with this if I just made a motion that the HPC name a subcommittee to draft a report for the HPC to consider at its next meeting.
I'll be-
So does anybody else wish to, before we make a decision? I just want to make sure everybody gets a chance to get an opinion in before, so we just don't say, well, this is what we're going to do.
All right, so hearing nothing in that case, I'll move that. I'll move that the HPC appoint a subcommittee to produce a draft of the report for the Historic Preservation Commission to consider at its February meeting.
Okay.
Second that, Wendy Geis.
Okay.
I guess my question is, sorry to interrupt, before you vote on the subcommittee, would it be appropriate to do that and then next to appoint the people as the subcommittee members tonight?
We could amend the motion by naming specific people. So, yeah, it's been moved and seconded. So in discussion, we could identify who might be interested and how we would proceed.
Yeah, I agree. And I know two people that are, so I guess so Jamie, do we, I guess ask who would like to be on it, and then we all vote on it? Is that what I'm? or could
I
be
would
wrong?
say amend, if you're going to go this route, amend your motion to include whoever is volunteering, and then have that up for a vote.
Okay, so. All right, so then we'll go with the amendation. So I guess now my next question is, who wants to volunteer for it?
So I've already indicated in my message to the chair, as James knows,
Yes,
that I'd be
sorry.
willing to
Okay.
willing to sit on the subcommittee.
Yeah, and I know Christina is also, I did hear from her. And Christina, you still want to serve on it? Is that right?
Yes, definitely happy to do that.
Okay, so I just need one more person. I will say, as the chair, I am going to abstain from that because I don't feel that it's appropriate for me to be on it. I think just.
It seems to me there's no particular reason, there's no procedural reason that a subcommittee couldn't be two people. Is that right, James, Jamie? Again,
Yeah.
for reasons that Christina and I have probably already said, if we had a third, it would just like provide more input and more perspective into the process.
I'm fine with that. I just, whatever is the right way to go, without it being, I mean, if we do it with two people, that's fine too. I just, I want everybody else to be able to have a, I guess just to be fair. And, we just don't want to assume that, so, but.
Great,
But
I
if
mean,
nobody
everyone-
else.
Sorry,
sorry,
James,
go
I
ahead.
thought you were done. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
no, I'm sorry. You're good.
I mean, everyone in the meeting has an opportunity now to volunteer or to talk through pros and cons of perhaps being on the subcommittee. the only person who was unable to stay is Russ. So I wonder if, as far as I know, he hadn't contacted you, but I wonder if this motion could get more complicated and leave a provision for a third member if so desired, but there, I don't, like a 24 window for him to sign up. I don't want, the only person who could right now be excluded is Russ. But I don't think we can appoint him in his absence either, because that seems fairly unfair.
And I'm fine with that too. I mean, if we just want to, I guess, start with Brian and Christina and then leave that option open that, and I guess I can reach out to Russ again through email and just see. I mean, I know he's busy and I don't, you know, but I guess I can reach out to him again and see if that's fine. So.
Do any other commission members have perspective on this question? So maybe I would amend my motion to say that the Historic Preservation Commission will appoint a subcommittee that consists of Brian Pennington, Christina Mine-King, and any other commission member who might subsequently indicate a willingness to join the subcommittee, to draft a report to be submitted to the HPC for its consideration at the February meeting. So I think that amendment requires a second.
I'll second that.
Okay, so yes, we'll do a roll call vote, Jamie.
Chair Ulyss,
Yes.
Vice Chair Pennington,
Yes.
Christina Mine-King.
Aye.
Lori Brine,
Yes.
Josh Adkins,
Yes.
and Wendy Geis.
Aye.
Okay. So staff will reach out to the subcommittee just to follow the proper procedures in terms of the Open Public Meetings Act, and we'll work with you on any noticing that needs to be done. Great. Thanks so much, guys. Appreciate your volunteering and moving this along as well.
Yes, thank you, Brian and Christina. And all right.
Can I just ask before we move to the next item of business?
Mhm.
If there is anything that that commission members who are present now would like to advise us about as the subcommittee proceeds to draft this report? Any questions or issues you'd want us to consider, things that you'd want us to include in the report?
I don't have anything right now.
All right, so we will draft a report. I'm speaking now on behalf of Christina also, I think it's okay, for the next meeting, and be in touch with Jamie about how we'll arrange for all of that.
Thank you.
That sounds good to me. And when we do speak with Jamie, I think it would be, I just wanted to make this transparent for the full meeting. I think it would be useful to talk about a timeline for sharing our report with HPC for feedback in time for it to really be discussed at the February meeting, if that makes sense. So all I'm saying is we'll be mindful of timing, knowing that we're in this kind of 30-day crunch. But that's something that I think is important to process too.
That's fine. Thanks, Christina.
All right. So on to other business. Do we have any minor certificates of appropriateness, Jamie?
There were 3 in your packet, just for your information.
Okay. Let me look.
One was for a fence. One was for removal of a diseased tree. And one was for some work pertaining to foundation.
Okay, then it looks like they were all done administrative. Is that correct?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. All right. Just make sure. All right. So then the final is the 2022 schedule, which I am going to assume is the meeting schedule.
Yes, just included in your packet for your information, what our dates are for 2022. It also gives the deadline date for when applications need to be received by. So at this point, we don't have any new COAs yet for next month, but it isn't midnight yet, so.
Okay. All right. Well, it looks like, well, this was looks like there's nothing else, I believe, on the agenda. I would say, you know, really looking at those proposals, I would say really look at them because they look pretty good. And I'm going to re-look through and, as Jamie said, try to share with her your opinion like tomorrow, what you think. I thought they looked really good, both of them. I mean, so that's hard. So I would just say that, and then listen to the interviews, of course, which were, I thought, that was nice to have, and since some of us couldn't be there. So,
I have a question for
Mhm.
Jamie, if that's okay. Sorry, I promise I'm not gonna take
no,
us
you're
another
fine.
hour
That's
in.
fine.
It's just about it's 408 Fountain Place, the bay window that they put in. I think the COA for the replacement of that, and I don't remember all the specifics for that COA, has expired. So I don't know if they've been in contact with you or if that COA has been extended, but the quote unquote offending window remains past the expiration date of their COA to replace it with an appropriate one.
Oh, thanks for the heads up. No, I have not been contacted regarding that application. So I will look into it. And I can update you guys at the next meeting.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Now, let me ask, the house that caught fire, is that in the historic district? So are
Yes.
are they gonna tear it down? Because or has anybody, do you know if anybody's,
The staff has been out there with the code enforcement and fire marshal and the property owners. I want to say in December sometime, maybe a little bit earlier than that. I have kind of provided an outline to the owner in terms of what would need to be done if they were seeking, depending upon which route they were going to go in terms of demolition versus new construction or rehab. I think that they were soliciting contractors to assist with that process to determine. I don't know which direction they're going to go at this point.
okay. Okay. I was just wondering, because every time I drive by, I'm like, not only is it a sad reminder, but it's just kind of, I know, it just doesn't look like, but I was just wondering if anybody had anything, but okay. All right, well, I guess I am gonna I call for a motion to adjourn this meeting.
So moved.
Okay, second.
Second, Brian.
All right, let's do a roll call and we'll please.
For Chair Ulis,
Yes.
Vice Chair Pennington,
Yes.
Lori Bryan,
Yes.
Christina Meinking,
Aye.
Wendy Geis,
Aye.
and Josh Adkins.
All
Great.
right.
Thanks so much, everybody. Have a good rest of your night. And look forward to hearing from you.
All right. Take care,
Thank you.
everybody.
All right.
Thanks,
Good
Jamie.
night. Mm-hmm.